everyone, it's Melody with Design by Melody. I'm here with a Project Life page for you today. Now, I have not actually started working with my March kit for 2018, so I thought I would fill in with another layout. This is actually a layout with a kit that I've been working with. This is my Gossamer Blue July 2017 kit. I've done a couple layouts with this. It's not a kit that I reviewed, it's just a kit I have in my stash, so I'm still kind of working with it. And if you've watched my videos for a while, you'll probably be familiar with a few of these products because you've seen them in the last couple weeks. So this is a Project Life page using some photos from October of 2018. This is actually a day that Kaylin and I went on a hike here in Raleigh. There's a state park called Umstead State Park, and we went on a hike and we did not know how long that hike was going to be. He's sitting right here next to me and he's giggling because this hike, we were supposed to go on a nice little stroll, you know, enjoying nature. It ended up being like 4 or 5 miles, and it was something ridiculous. Oh no, I have 3 miles, but we kept stopping, so it took like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours for us to do this hike. So it was quite long. It was not at all what we had expected or started out with, but it ended up being extremely nice, and we got some good exercise that day and really enjoyed some outside time, especially with the weather being nice. So and by the way, Kaylin informed me that this is his layout because there are more photos of him on it than me. There's only one photo of me, but there's a lot of photos of him. So I'm going to tell you what the photos are. The top right photo is of Kaylin pointing to the waterfall up at the top that doesn't exist. And then in the middle row, starting at the left, there's a picture of Kaylin. He doesn't have his shirt on because it's tied around his neck. He had been wearing a tank top, and it got so hot and he got so sweaty that we took it off. We did find like a water spigot or spout or whatever, and so we're kind of playing in it, and you're just cooling off, rinsing off his face and stuff, just kind of trying to cool him off because it was extremely hot. And then the photo at the second one to the left actually is a picture of us walking through the woods. So the way that this trail is set up is there's really not a cleared path, but there are little red circles on any of the like on all the trees, and you just kind of follow the red circles, and that kind of takes you along the path. So, but it's kind of a little bit ambiguous because as you're walking, you can see a couple red circles, but you really can't see where you're going, like, I don't know, 1/4 of a mile up. So it's really kind of a surprise as you're walking through. You just kind of follow the red circles from tree to tree. So that's a picture of Kaylin kind of in the background. And then there's it's the picture of the tree with the red circle on it. And so because of that, though, I pulled in some of the red papers and embellishments just to kind of play off the red circle and kind of just to highlight that a little bit. Then the photo to the right is of Kaylin and I when we were finished. There's a picture of us smiling. You can tell we are hot, and our faces are red and we're kind of sweaty, but it's a picture of us afterwards. And then at the bottom left is a picture of Kaylin very much mirroring the top right photo. And then the journaling I'm going to put on here talks about the whole waterfall issue. And then a picture to the bottom right is a picture of us starting the trail. So it was Sal's Branch Trail is the one we're going on. So that's kind of an overview of all the photos, and then all of the embellishments really just kind of go along with that. This kit was perfect for this layout. So I've got my LA Studio October 2016 calendar card at the top here that I always try to include, especially in the albums that I did not do weekly, and this is not a weekly, this is a monthly spread. I did go through some of my stash. I have some, let's see if I wrote this down. I have some My Mind's Eye die cuts, which is what this one is, and it says exploration underway, proceed with sense of adventure. Of adventure. Gosh, I'm having a hard time talking. Exploration underway. Proceed with a sense of adventure. And that is one of those My Mind's Eye die cuts. All of the things in this little box that you see me flipping through are My Mind's Eye. So I do pull out a few of these, and it's primarily just to give me some larger die cuts because I have chipboard and then I have things to stamp and stuff in the kit, but I don't really have any large die cuts. And I just felt like I needed something. So there's this one that's a license plate that says State of Relaxation, Just Chillin', Breaking Free. And that's again on My Mind's Eye die cut. And then I pulled out a few little labels from my little scrap bin to include as well, which is where I'm going to do some of my journaling. And then I have that large red and white like dot arrow at the bottom right under the good stuff chipboard that I pulled out, and that is actually going to be one of those die cuts that I pulled out from the My Mind's Eye box as well. So I'm just kind of doing a little bit of journaling here on a few of the little things that I pulled out from my scrap bin, and I will tell you what they say. So there's this one right here that I'm going to put under the Just Chilling license plate, and I'm going to rewrite this on a different, it's like a teal colored paper here, and it's just because the journaling lines are smaller and I needed something a little bit smaller. That journaling that I originally wrote covered up too much of the photo. I wanted to make sure I didn't overlap Kaylin in that photo, and what it says is a super hot day, but we found water. And I really kind of like how this card turned out. I've got the photo layering off to the left side of the card, and then I've got the embellishments layering off to the right side of the card. So I kind of like the combination of the two things kind of counteracting each other. Then I have this photo on this card that I'm going to kind of put near the top of the 3x4 card, which is a little bit different. And then I did pull out these are Kaiser Craft Mini Alphas in Cherry Red, and I'm just pulling out another little piece of journaling spot from my scrap bin. I've been really utilizing my scrap bin here recently, just trying to use up some of the little things in there. It's getting quite full, so I feel like whenever I'm doing layouts that are not necessarily from a kit for a kit review, or even if I'm using a kit review kit, I do find it helpful just to have this little scrap bin at hand, so if I need a scrap of something, I have it available. And on here it says special notes, and it says to find the trail, follow the red dots, and I put red dots in those little alphas from Kaiser Craft that I mentioned. Then I'm also mounting this journaling spot on a piece of that same blue cardstock that was left in the kit from another layout. I had talked about this, I think, in the last layout I did. And of course, you know how that goes when you're in the middle of the layout. Of course, that's when you run out of tape. It would be too convenient for you to run out of tape at the very end of a layout. Of course, then I guess you wouldn't know because you'd be done with the layout. You wouldn't realize it till you started your next layout. But I just think it's kind of funny how right in the middle, run out of tape, but that's totally fine. I have only about 8 tape refills right in my drawer, so it's easy for me to go ahead and just have that there handy. All right, so then I've pulled out these little circle alphas, and I did pull out one of my Pilot Friction ball erasable pens, 07 in gray, because it kind of mimics like a gunmetal gray in a sense, so I was able to make an A with a V from that alpha sheet. Now, I don't think I could draw a whole like I don't know, like the side of an H or something, but just to kind of put the cross in the middle of the A on the word day totally worked just fine. You cannot even tell. It just looks like it's part of the same font that was already on the alpha sheet, which I love because I really liked these circle alphas. I had got them from Target, the dollar spot, years ago, and I wish I had got 15 packs of them because I really, really enjoy them. But eventually I'm sure Target will come out with some very similar again. They always seem to kind of cycle through things, just change it slightly, and there may be different colors or something like that, but I really need to keep an eye out on the Target dollar spot because those were perfect. So it says fun day, and then I used a chipboard piece that said gone exploring, and then I'm using a little bit of one of those scrap journaling cards again, and it says Kaylin and I went on a 3-mile hike at Umstead Park. It was long, hot, and wonderful. It took us forever, I'm telling you. He still remembers it even now about going on that park, and I even tell him, hey, let's go on a hike. And he's always like, no, not doing that. It's so stinking long. So at the bottom here, I put just fun. And that kind of uses those alphas again, which I absolutely love. So I just thought it was funny. And then I am going to pull out this word strip little section sticker sheet that I had in my scrap bin. And that's an old Simple Stories one. And I just trimmed those down a little bit. But again, the phrases I had left were kind of phrases that I wouldn't necessarily use on a scrapbook layout, but it's funny that I was able to really make them work with this layout. So one said no excuses, one said no complaining, and one said no whining, and it kind of goes right along with the photos because again, we were talking about how this hike was so much longer than we had expected or even realized it was going to be, but it really was a lot of fun. And funny enough, he really didn't complain. We got a little complaining whenever we were looking for water. Well, we had water with us, but it got to a point where he was extremely hot. But once we found the water, then it was like all cool again, and we went back to hiking, and we were good to go. It also kind of came out in the middle of the hike towards a lake, and we could kind of watch, which is where the water spout was, towards a lake, and they had like where you could go boating, but or canoeing, but their little rescue boat was out of order, so. I say out of order, but I guess it was out of commission, I suppose. So they weren't letting anybody actually canoe or anything because they had no way to actually help if there was a problem. So there was nobody there, but it was kind of a nice little place for us to have a break. I'm putting down this arrow die cut at the bottom, and then I'm going to layer the Good Stuff chipboard piece right on top of that, and that's going to kind of be the only thing that I put on this bottom card. But again, it's really more about the photo and less about the embellishment, especially on this card. So I felt like that was enough. Then on the bottom left card, I have some more embellishing to do. I usually start with my 4x6 cards, but for whatever reason on this particular layout, I did my 3x4 cards first, which is kind of funny, as I always notice that type of thing when I'm doing my voiceovers. You don't necessarily notice that type of thing when you're in the middle of the scrapbooking process, but when I do the voiceovers, I watch myself and I go, huh, that's interesting. I have very much a pattern that I follow, and I don't even realize it. I guess it's just the way that my brain works. I had this stamped little like label that was in my scrap bin. That's something I had stamped before and did not use on the layout that I had made it for. So I just throw those type of things in my little scrap box, and that's what I pulled it out for. And it says, this map shows a waterfall, but there was no waterfall to be found anywhere on the trail. What? And we even asked the park ranger about it afterwards because we went into the little, oh, I don't know what you call it, like park ranger office thing that was at the front of the park. And he told us, oh yeah, there's no waterfall. I said, well, why is it on the picture? And we you can clearly see it. We even took a picture of it. I wish we had probably asked him beforehand, but he said, yeah, I'm not exactly sure why that's a picture on there because there's not any waterfalls here. And we were like, what? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Why is it on the picture and on the map if there's not one here? Maybe there was one there in the past. I don't know, but it's not there now. It was quite disappointing. He said there weren't any waterfalls anywhere on the grounds. So yeah, that was a little disappointing because we picked that trail in specifically to go find the waterfall, and we did not find it anywhere. I have a couple die cuts up here, just a little arrow and a banner, and then I have my little, I'm going to layer one of those red asterisks as well, and then I'm going to use a few of the word strips. I've got one that says the story of today, and then the other one that says we just want to have sun. I used that one rubber banner that says happy memories. That's the only thing I put on that photo of Kaylin and I together. And then I did stamp that good vibes stamp at the top that I have layered over the exploration underway with the little red heart on top of it. I stamped that out with the stamp set. There's another stamp I'm going to add, and it says totally enjoying, and it's going to be right under the journaling spot with red dots. And then that should be it. That's everything that I have left on this layout. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please let me know if you have any questions whatsoever or have any comments that you'd like to share. All right, guys. Bye.